there must be some sort of online new business idea about trying to encouraging people to build their business by providing review services for authors. And it's becoming a bit annoying as my inbox is starting to get flooded with copy and pasted entreaties to use their services and how much they can do for me. So I thought I would just pop on and make a little quick video on 5 reasons you should not be buying reviews. The most common one and the most obvious one is if you buy reviews from somebody, then whoever leaves that review is not going to be one of your regular readers. This means they will not buy future books. This means they will not go back and buy your backlist books. This means this is some random person who is getting cash in hand to provide a review on your hard work. I think your book deserves more than that. The second reason is that the book is often not from a verified purchase. Now, I know you've seen this yourself. If you go onto Amazon, whether you buy from there or not, if you scroll down and you look at the actual reviews that are left, you will see if the book has been purchased, it will come up with a little orange verified purchase button on it. And so you know at least that the person paid for the book. But in a lot of these pay-to-review services, you are usually expected to give that book away for free, which is fine. I give free books away every month. I don't discount that service, but I do discount it when it comes to giving reviews. Your reviews should come from genuine readers. Now, the third thing, and the third important aspect of this, is that buying reviews is against the Amazon's terms of service. It could jeopardize your account. Now, a lot of the proposals I am getting in my email actually involve tipping the reviewers. And I had to freaking laugh. Firstly, I live in New Zealand, so tipping is not a common thing in this country. But I have read and watched enough about American lifestyle and in Europe too, in places where tipping is common. But tipping is a form of payment. If you have had a waiter who has been very attentive and has served you well throughout a restaurant meal, you're going to leave them a tip to pay for the good service that he has offered, he or she. That's not relevant. But the fact is, you are paying for something. You are giving somebody money in exchange for something they've done. So a tip for a review is just as bad as paying for it outright. In fact, it is the same thing. And I do believe, although most people don't discuss this point, it is something you can get your account closed down for. Do you want to get all your hard work and have done all that work on your book and all that work on your marketing and driven sales and actually gotten sales because of what you've done? And then you get an email from Amazon telling you that they've closed your account. And by the way, they pay their royalties 2 months in arrears. So that's 2 months worth of your income gone down the drain just because you want to buy a review. It's not worth it. It is also not worth it when it comes to getting the review. I had an instance, one of these tipping things, and the woman who was promoting her business to me sent me to her Shopify link where I could choose. Say, for example, I wanted 100 reviews on my book, and I would be paying between $20 and $25 for the review. Now, this particular person did assure me that the reviewer would buy the book, so they would get the verified button. But if I paid for 100 reviews, what's that, $2,500? And so I make $3.40 in royalties. So 100 times that means I would get $340 of that back. That means I paid $2,200 to have 100 reviews on my book, when it's not likely to make much difference in the sales anyway. Because that brings me to point number 4. Most of those reviews are written with ChatGPT. And ChatGPT doesn't even read your book. It just picks up what it can guess from the blurb and from any other reviews that are left, and leaves a load of waffle, which has probably got no relation to your book at all. Finally, point 5, paying for reviews gives you and your readers a false sense of your success. It can be lovely to look at your sales page and see reviews. That little row of stars is, yeah, I had to train myself not to check those sorts of things every day, which is what I used to do when I first started selling my books back in 2014. I was there forever looking. And if I got like anything less than a 5-star, I was like, no, this is okay. Not everybody leaves 5 stars. And then once you get, and then you go through that stage where you get your first couple of 1 and 2-star reviews, and it's like your soul's crushed. You're just so devastated. But it happens. And if you ever worry about it, or ever think, oh my God, my whole career is ruined, go and have a look at books by some of your favorite really well-known authors. I would go and look at books by Patricia Cornwell, or there was a time when I looked at the books of the person who would not be named. Stephen King is another one. Go and look at somebody else's Amazon reviews. They all get 1 and 2 stars. Not many, because they're very successful authors. But if you're only getting a tiny percentage of them, then don't worry about it. Let your reviews go organically. Sorry, that should be grow organically. When people find your book, when people enjoy your book, then they are more likely to leave reviews. Now, not all readers will. I might get 1,000 I might get 1,000 readers on a book, and I might get 100 reviews. It's the same applies on a YouTube video. When you look at the likes thing, not everybody does. Some people just read and move on. Some people don't even think about it. Sometimes if they're reading on their Kindle, well, then they don't, they just shut it and they're going to sleep because they've been reading till 3 o'clock in the morning. It doesn't really matter why they didn't leave a review. And it really doesn't matter if they leave 1 or 2-star reviews, although, of course, you always hope that they won't. But ultimately, it needs to be an organic process. Now, for those of you who are thinking, well, I don't have any other way to get reviews, like how else can I get them? There are a couple of ways. The one I use is I ask for them nicely, politely, at the very end of my book. When they've got to the end of my book and they're sitting there thinking, oh, shoots, that was nice. And then they'll read that, they'll read the little note I've put at the end, letting them know what's coming next, with me thanking them for having got that far and how much I appreciate them. And then I'll always put somewhere in there and just say, if you did enjoy this book, could you please help me as an author to just leave a review at your place of purchase? It's simple, it's easy, it's a request. And 9 times out of 10, if your reader who has enjoyed your book wants to help you sell more books so you'll keep writing, they will go and leave a review. It's that simple. There are other places. There are some review blogs. It used to be that all review blogs that I'd seen in the romance genre, they never charged, but I see now it's becoming more and more common for reviewers to charge for them. I'm not comfortable with that myself. But there are still some blogs around, if you do some searching, that will do reviews for you, or do a review for you on their blog if you give them a free copy of your book. Also, you could have a look on Goodreads for review groups in your genre. Again, look for those who really want to read your genre and who are prepared to do it in exchange for a copy of the book. They do have to note that on the review that they place on Amazon, that they'd received an art copy, or they had received a copy in exchange for a fair and honest review. That has to be done, again, to meet Amazon's terms and conditions. So there are groups like that available. You've just got to go and look for them. And then, of course, I do get the question, well, I'm not even getting any sales, so how can I get reviews? Surely if I pay for some reviews and at least it looks like somebody's interested in my book, then maybe more people will buy it. No, that's not actually true. That's not how it works. I am actually, in this batch lot of videos I'm making at the moment, I am going to be doing a video on what do you do if you can't get any sales, but checking your cover, making sure your cover's genre appropriate, making sure your blurb elicits interest and actually reflects the quality of the standard of the book, making sure your book is edited, because a lot of people use the look inside function, particularly for new books or books by new authors. And, you know, have you been marketing? That dreaded word marketing, but I've got videos on that as well. So, but yes, it's not, I will say that it's not easy to get the ball rolling. I will say that sometimes, particularly when you're starting, it's like pushing a giant roll of turd uphill. You know, I understand that, but you have to start somewhere. We all start at the bottom of that hill. And some of us only get this high, and some of us get a little bit this high. And every now and again, there's an outlier that gives all self-published authors hope, and they get all the way up there. But we all had to start at the bottom with no readers, no reviews, and no sales. The best thing about that is you can only go up from there. So if you have any questions at all, please pop them in the comments below. I do answer every one. I post long form content on Mondays and Thursdays, and I really genuinely want to help you get your book finished, get your book published, and actually start to enjoy the lifestyle that I've enjoyed since 2014. So I hope you enjoyed this. As I say, any questions in the comments below? Likes and subscribes would be really awesome, because I'm still down the bottom of the hill when it comes to trying to get the YouTube algorithm to notice me and push up my watch hours. So if you could help me in that regard, that would be awesome. But either way, I hope to see you again soon. No matter what you thought, please keep writing, because I believe in you and I know you can do this. Why do I know that? Because I did. Until next time, my friends. Bye.